right, guys, we are back with another great episode of Basscast Radio. One day I'll figure out how to kind of just drag that thing on out there one day, but I just hit play and let it go. What's happening, everybody? Hope you guys have all had a great week. Enjoy the beautiful ice storm here in Central Virginia. Luckily, I'll be honest, guys, I live down here in the woods. And knock on wood, I probably haven't lost power very much at all compared to those city folks. When I grew up in the city, it was real bad.
So are you getting ice up there like right today, or was this just the past one?
The past one.
Week.
Yeah, just the past one.
We got snow. We got about, 3 inches, 4 or 5 in some higher elevations. So
that's good.
Not bad. We got all kinds of rain today, getting ready to make the trip down to Knox Vegas.
That's right.
And, of course, they're giving rain, freezing rain, and a mix of snow. So good times. It'll be a fun trip. Yay.
I'm not coming down until Friday morning after that crap's gone. But it's supposed to rain here tomorrow and maybe a chance of snow tomorrow afternoon. Then it's going to be gone and out of here. So that's what we're hearing. It's mixed. It's that time of the year when you never know what you're gonna get right here in Central Virginia.
That's true. Same down here in the mountains.
Yeah, for you guys that don't know how it all goes here, real quick, like Bass Geek is saying, the mountains help us tremendously. I mean, they help protect us big time from a lot of crazy storms and craziness weather and all that good stuff, but
sure do.
Yeah, we're lucky. That's all I can say here in Central Virginia. Plus, that's why the boys fish all year. You got to worry about nothing.
That is a good thing. Yeah, at least we ain't drilling holes in the ice. So
got that right. Yeah, as you guys just heard, basscast.com as well as Hank the Bass Geek is going to be in Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend. We're heading down Friday morning. And Bass Geek, when are you heading down? Tomorrow, right?
I will be tomorrow, which will be Thursday. So today, for you people listening at home. I'll be down there all 5 days from sun up to sundown until Sunday when we finally get turned loose to get to come back home. So I'll be working the third eye fishing booth for the most part. But if you come by and I'm not there, just know that I'm walking around somewhere. And if you see me, come say hey.
And if he looks pretty damn tired, give him a Red Bull or a coffee. It don't matter which one. A Monster Energy drink, it doesn't matter because my boy's going to need it.
I'll take a Miller Lite. That always picks me up.
I'm just going to bring the big coffee canteen. I got one about the big Yeti, that big, huge Yeti full of coffee.
Hey, that's what I loved about the, what was the expo that we were at up in
Augusta.
Northern Virginia, Augusta County.
Yeah,
they served alcohol at that bad boy. I think every expo should pull that. I was like, yeah.
Yes, they did. They did have alcohol there because they had one of the reps from a local brewery. It's not a sponsor, so we can't mention them, but it's pretty daggone good stuff. But they were there and handing out little shots.
Yeah. They kept me going with a little.
But they did. That's
extra.
right. You could buy a can, couldn't you?
You could buy it. You could actually buy it. So
I forgot all about that. So we're gonna be there as well, guys. We're gonna be back up there. I will be back up there because our kayak sponsor, Journey Outdoors, will have a booth there. Plus, now that they have canceled the Richmond show, which is pretty daggone sad. I know a lot of people here is looking forward to that, and I don't know. I don't want them to get hit by snow, but now they canceled it. I really want them to get hit by snow because at least I have something fun to play in. Then to be sitting there and this whole storm does this little exit right out and misses like half of us and Richmond as well. So the whole thing sucks. But I mean, I understand for the safety of vendors and everyone traveling and all the people associated with that. And it really sucks because, that show as well as this one we're all going to was canceled last year due to COVID. So, But, guys, schedules have been popping. Been putting everything up on a website. Geek, what you been going on? What you got going on?
Did a Did a good breakdown for you guys that wonder about line. Got a really good video about line breakdown, really the three major types. So when I like to use them, where I like to use them, the applications, and why each one has its kind of specialty uses. Really good for beginners who want to get out there and try it out. Other than that, man, got some becoming a TikTok superstar. Put a TikTok out. Put a TikTok out yesterday at 4 o'clock, and the sucker's got like 240,000 views today.
Holy crap!
Yeah, 240,000 views today.
Congratulations, brother, on that. I put out my first TikTok without music a week ago, and it went to like 7 or almost 8,000 views, and it's just a fish dumping video, like always. And I'm like, holy cow! You never know. You hit the right time, the right algorithm, the right place, bam. And what you said, man, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, the TikTok's been going real well. The Instagram's going real well. You guys follow me. It's Bass Geek or Bass Geek Fishing, pretty much on all the social interwebs. And hey, getting ready, getting geared up to do some live streams. One of our favorite guests actually reached out to me and asked me to do a collab, Mr. John Sokup.
Oh, and heck yeah,
he was
dude.
like, he reached out to me the other day and he was like, hey man, I want to do a collab with you, because he started a YouTube channel, of course.
Yes.
And he's like, hey man, I want to be on your live stream. And I'm like, okay, cool, dude. That'll be a great
yeah,
one.
dude. So, that is awesome, man.
He's going to be on next Monday if I have a voice after the show in Knoxville.
I know. It ain't as bad as a classic. I mean, I'll be honest, guys, a classic. If the further it is away, I take that Monday off and sleep. We are taking Monday off because we're not coming back till Monday. But
I'm taking Monday off too.
Crash. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Well, we're not going to keep our guest any longer on the line. Tonight, guys, we got Bassmaster Elite Angler as well as NPFL Angler, Mr. Patric Walters, on tonight. We're going to be talking about the 2022 Bassmaster Classic down at Lake Hartwell, which basscast.com is looking forward to that. And guys, give us a quick moment. We'll have Mr. Patric Walters. All right, guys, we are back with 2022 Bassmaster Classic qualifier, Mr. Patric Walters. What's up, brother?
Man, not too much, guys. It's happy to be here. It's January, and it's that time of year to get back in the fishing swing, and that's what we're here to do, is talk some fishing.
Got that right. I don't think we ever left, but you're right, man. A lot of, me and you hit up earlier in the week, a lot of people going hunting and, still doing some of that and traveling. And, it's very big. Some of those trips that people go on that, elk hunting, and I don't know. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about on that hunting stuff, but I mean, it's
well, a lot of people,
it's like thousands of dollars. I've heard like people that work with me, like, yeah, I dropped $1,000 and I went up north and I shot big old elk, brought it back home. And I'm like, all right, that's cool, man.
That's probably a cheap trip if it was only $1,000 is the crazy
Good Lord.
But a lot of the people in the fishing industry typically need they need to clock out for a little bit, because for 8 months out of the year, we're fishing as hard as we can. And typically I fish a good bit in the wintertime, but we had such a long off season this year that I fished a little bit, but I think I hunted and kind of got some more work done around the house this year than I fished, which was kind of good. I kind of mentally clocked out. I've been focused on other things. I just got back from a hunt with a lot of the guys from Bass, in Nebraska, doing a little duck hunting. But it feels good to your mind was completely on something else, because when I dive into something, I can't just do it halfway. I've completely got to go all the way, and you just immerse yourself in that environment, and it's tunnel vision is what it is. And so it feels good to be kind of coming out the other side of that tunnel, and fishing season's around the corner. We're in that bend, and it's time to get my mind on it. I got the boat wrapped today, got it home.
Got
my jersey ordered. So I think we're finally getting those wheels turning.
Starting the process.
You just ordered your jersey?
I know. That was actually a little late on me. I did a rush order just in case, but they said they could get it in time.
I was gonna say, my girl says it's like, with everything going on, at least 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Woo. If it's 2 months, I'm gonna be wearing a t-shirt. y'all watch out. No, it's I made sure it was a little delayed.
Stickers.
Okay, good.
Straight up patches.
Old school.
Just find you a like a scout vest, like the brown ones that
like the old Skeeter Yamaha ones.
Yeah,
yes.
Patches of Houlihan.
Or you can be. It's another guy
bringing it back.
It's a guy who shows up the Classic every year, and he's got the old coveralls with the patches all over it and all that stuff.
Wow, yeah, I've seen him.
Holy
That's
cow.
a way to do it. I mean, you'd get some attention for it. So,
yeah,
it might be a good idea. It might be a good thing if this jersey doesn't come in.
Hey, bring it back.
Hopefully it does.
It was funny as I went to talking about this. I went to a coffee shop, and this girl was wearing a G.I. Joe t-shirt. Now I remember when G.I. Joe cartoon first started, like I was like that old, and it's like, she said, "This shirt is vintage." I was like, dang, I'm old then if that shirt's vintage. I was like, what
for real?
I was like,
my gosh.
This is vintage, sir.
Okay, I'm vintage.
Yeah, I'm vintage.
You're right. They're just bringing that stuff back. We've always thought it was cool.
Yeah.
It never went out of style.
Yeah.
No.
All right, like you said, man, let's dive into 2022. You've added a few more events to your plate this year, and let's dive into this NPFL. Last year was the inaugural season. The season started off with a bang. It was really cool seeing. I don't know if I really liked the platform. I mean, the 3-day everybody fished all 3 days, because a lot of the lakes that the NPFL went to last year were not very big bodies of water.
Correct.
And you shared a lot of water for 3 days, and and that could have hurt the final day. I mean, a lot of people, their weights, but you're gonna go fish NPFL, fishing for 3 days. And I did bring the schedule up here in front of me, man.
But you got to be. The good thing about that though is you really got to have a plan A, B, C, and probably D and E.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, the whole alphabet's going to come into play next
That's
year.
Right.
That's for sure. But the way I looked at it, I'm actually pretty excited to be fishing the NPFL next year. It's a good group of guys over there. But the way I looked at it is, since I've qualified for the Bassmaster Elite Series, I fished the Bassmaster Opens 2 years prior to that, and I have fished the Bassmaster Opens ever since then. So the 3 years that I've been in the Elite Series, I've continued to fish the Opens because this is what I do for a living. This is my sole income. It's fishing. It's what I love to do. It's my passion. And I was fishing 2 divisions of Opens no matter what. And that's 6 tournaments. And when I looked at the NPFL, I was like, you know what? That's 6 tournaments as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the same amount of tournaments for the season that I would be fishing. But the good news is, the way I looked at it, the Opens is a fantastic format. That is the stair step. That's the ladder to get to the Elite Series. And we need that. We need that there. The only thing is, you're fishing against 225 guys.
Yes.
And let me tell you, that 225 guys, every single one of them's hammers. You have 40 locals. You got 20 Elite Series guys, and everybody trying to make the Elite Series, and they only pay the top 40. That's the problem. You're fishing against so many people, and they're only paying such a small margin of the field.
Yeah.
And if you cut that 40th place check, you're just getting your money back. I mean, you're going to get like $2,000, get some gas money. So you're not profiting any money from that. And when I looked at the NPFL, it's 125 guys. Every single one of them are hammers, but it's the same format as the Elite Series. There's no really locals. There's nobody that's going to jump in and just jackpot the tournament. So they've got to fish the whole series. You will always have a local on each body of water you go to.
Yeah.
But they can't get information. just like
Right.
we can't. They have 3 days of practice, just like the Elite Series had. So it completely levels the playing field. Where like the Open, some guy will be out there practicing for a month. Hey, and if you've got that kind of time, you're more than welcome to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you cut a 40th, I think they pay, it's top 40 or top 38. It's same pay structure basically out of
Right.
125. So better chance of getting paid percentage wise, and you get nine grand. I think top 35 gets 10 grand. So you have a much better chance of getting your money back. It is a little more money up front cost due to entry fees, but the way I look at it, scared money never made any money. So
good one.
That's
I
what
like
I'm
that.
talking
I'm stealing
about.
it. I'm stealing that from him right now. Stolen.
That's what I'm talking about, Patrick. So the season, so no opens this year for you.
No opens this year.
All
I'm gonna miss 'em.
NPFL and a Bassmaster Elite Series.
Yes, sir.
And stop number 1 is at Lake Cumberland, February the 20th through the 26th.
What's gonna be crazy is that is the first stop for the NPFL schedule, but that first month of tournament bass fishing, I'm not gonna be conditioned from fishing shape. I'm gonna be forged into condition into shape because it's gonna force me to be in shape because I'm leaving. The first Elite Series event is February 10th through the 13th on St. John's River.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's the first tournament of the year, and that's like 3 weeks. So, and I leave straight from St. John's to go to Harris Chain for the second Elite Series tournament. We have them back to back. That one's February 17th to the 20th. I leave straight from Harris Chain and go to Cumberland for the first NPFL event. And practice starts on Sunday for the NPFL event, and the last day of the Harris Chain is that Sunday. So if I make the final day, I'm already going to miss the first day of practice.
Wow.
That if you make
the final day. How many hour ride is it from Florida up to South Carolina?
From Florida to South Carolina,
Yeah,
it's 6 hours.
Yeah.
But from Harris Chain to Cumberland, it's going to be 10.5-hour drive.
Holy
and then
cow.
when I get done with Cumberland, I leave straight from there and go to the Classic at Hartwell without skipping a beat. Don't get a day off. And then when we get done with Hartwell, I have 5 days off. Finally, I'll get a week off, and then the Bassmaster Elite Series event on Santee. So those first 5 weeks, I'm gonna have 5 days off between 5 tournaments, and that's between the last stretch. So when I say it's gonna be like forging steel, I mean you're not gonna have an option. You're gonna bend or you're gonna break.
Yeah.
Have you called John?
You will literally be getting hammered.
Exactly.
You need to give John Cox a call real quick. Say, how'd you do it, man? I know his wife helped him a lot. You're married as well. Is your wife going to help you drive a little bit and all that mess? Or
she's probably going to help me drive to some of them, especially depends on how they're going, especially if I make the final day. If I say I don't make the final day at Harris Chain and I have a day of travel, that'll help. Hopefully you don't have a day of travel because that means you're doing pretty good. But I'm probably going to crunch those first couple. When she comes to the first one at St. John's, and she'll probably be at Harris Chain, but from there, she'll probably head back because she's actually got her own job. She's an interior designer. And so I'll be peeling off and heading north.
Holy cow.
Whew,
we'll see how it goes. That's going to be a lot of Red Bull 5-hour energies and about 37 bags of sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
So like you said, man, stop number 2 of that series is Lake Hartwell in April. And then you go to stop number 3 is Watts Bar in May. Then Saginaw Bay. I can never say that word right. Saginaw Bay. You had it June. And then stop 5 is Sandusky Bay. And then stop 5 is Kissimmee Chain of Lakes. And then stop.
Nope, that was 6.
That's 6. Yeah, it's 6. That's the Classic.
No, they don't have a championship in the books yet. It's 6 regular season tournaments, and there's talk of a championship yet. We'll know probably as the season progresses. But I love the schedule. To tell you the truth, the main reason while I'm fishing the NPFL is those 2 northern tournaments. That's Saginaw Bay and Sandusky Bay.
Okay.
I'm not notoriously known for smallmouth fishing.
Yes.
And it's taken me 3 years of getting my head caved in to kind of start to slowly figure them out. And honestly, once you get a taste of that brown sugar, I needed a little bit more of it. And so that's why I'm fishing the NPFL event. It was 2 Great Lakes fisheries. I'm excited about them.
Yeah. Now we don't have you know, the northern smallmouth, but down where I'm at, I fish a lake called South Holston and Cherokee Lake and South Holston. You know, you put together, you know, there was a tournament just the other day and it was a 20-pound bag of smallmouth, you know, so.
Dang.
And that's during the spring and during the winter right now, that's pretty common.
That's a good bag.
Yeah. And
how many can you keep right now up there? Can you keep a limit of them?
Yeah.
Because I fished that open on Douglas 2 or 3 times, and you could only.
Yeah, now Douglas is a little weird, but well, that's all a long story, man.
I would have done a lot better in that second tournament if I could have kept multiples of them, because
Douglas.
Oh my gosh.
So kind of what's happened here in the Highlands reservoirs. I live right, you know, around Bristol, Tennessee, Virginia is where I'm at. And so what's kind of happened to those lakes, these lakes up here, you know, I remember way back in the day when Cherokee was the largemouth lake.
Really?
But there's been some power plants that's closed down and the lakes are beginning to clear up. So smallmouth are beginning to become more and more dominant. And now that's actually becoming the case. Douglas is very well known for big largemouth and, you know, deep ledge, you know, not quite Tennessee River ledge, but deep ledge fishing, you know, during the summer, catching them out in 40, 50. But it's also beginning to clear up now, and you're starting to see more and more of those mag smallmouth on it. So I figure eventually I'll have to go all the way to, you know, literally Knoxville to catch largemouth here in the next 10 years.
I think the largemouth population is going to maintain. There's just enough habitat in those lakes. But I actually fished the opens that were in the fall there, and we would run way up that river, and you could only keep one smallmouth a day.
Oh wow!
And we would catch a 3.5-pound smallmouth, and a good bag there was 10 to 12 pounds in the fall. Like that's a good bag, and you'd catch a 3.5, and then you'd cull it with a 4-pounder. And you do that like 2 or 3 times a day, and you were just like, you're just struggling to get a limit, and you're throwing a 4-pound smallmouth back. I mean, that is stressful.
Now it's not like that on Cherokee and on
Cherokee.
you know,
you can
South
keep,
Holston.
you can keep multiples, because I fished the Cherokee Open last year, I think it was, and I weighed a couple of them in.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I'm on Smith Mountain Lake, man. We just threw the tiger bass in about 5 years ago.
Did you really?
Yep.
That's a lake I gotta go fish more.
I've never fished there.
And a few years ago, we started a lot of smallmouth finally. And we had some boys up here that the first time, I think I was one of the first ones to see a whole stringer of smallmouth, and they all weighed about 5 pounds a piece.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a good largemouth and smallmouth lake, and it's really now it went through that largemouth bass virus.
Yes.
Okay.
About 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Gosh, it is rebounding so well right now.
Good. I was about to say, you haven't heard anything about that lake for a long time now, and that's good that it's coming back. It probably almost needed a cleansing to get that healthy strain of fish back in there.
Yep.
Because the same as like Bugs Island went through the same issue as well.
What causes that virus? Like,
I don't know.
What randomly makes it all of a sudden one day just get in there? Does a fish come from somewhere else, like a bird drop it in there and it just spreads?
I don't know.
Just genetically.
I've done some research on it, but to be honest with you, it's been so many years ago that I don't even remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either, because we wrote stories, and a lot of people wrote. I mean, it was a big to do up here. Because the weights dropped off. I mean, we were, you went from like, if you had a 15-pound bag winning a tournament, usually up here, if you don't have 20 to 25, you don't cash a check, nevertheless win.
Yeah, lakes bounced back. I mean, 20, like he said, 20, 25-pound bag it's commonplace.
Wow. Does it have a lot of herring in it? I couldn't remember if it had blueback.
I don't think it has herring.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Just a clear water. Clear, deep water. I know.
No vegetation or anything?
Nope. They killed all that.
Wow.
Skeet Reese won up here a few years ago. Skeet Reese won up here a few years ago, many years ago now, with the big old giant swim bait.
Jerry Rago.
Yep. He won.
I remember the tournament.
And then Kevin Van Dam won up here like a year or so later. And we haven't had one since. Ever since then, we've been bringing in the Big Bass Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we are their #1 stop. We were the first lake
Really?
to have. We were the first lake to have 2 tournaments on the lake.
Okay.
And now they do a couple other lakes with 2 tournaments, but we have a spring and a fall version of the Big Bass Tour, and it's 800.
Well, what grows the big fish in that lake?
What's that?
What grows the big fish in that lake? Is it the type of forage or the depth?
That lake has gizzard shad in it.
Yeah, lots of
Okay.
shad. I was going to say lots of shad.
Yeah.
I don't want to geek.
I think it's got gizzard shad.
Lots of big stripers.
Okay.
And that's baby stripers. Bass love them.
Yeah.
A lot of whitefish too.
There's a lot of white bass in there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Stripers look. I mean, yeah, like you said, the bass love 'em, but it's known for a lot of striper fishing.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So, all right.
We've got
veered off a
totally
little bit.
sidetracked. Sorry, that's my fault.
That's it, man. We love fishing here. We said we're going to talk fishing tonight.
That's what we said. That's what it's about.
That's what it's about. All right. So what's going to be your takeaway, man, from this NPFL, man? Going into this thing, like I said, the first year's inaugural year, they had some issues. They had some bumps in the road. They said everything got worked out. We're both real tight with Soka. I mean, cash some big checks. Is there a rumor? Last year they paid $50,000 to the winner. Is it still going to be 50? Are they going to the 100 this year?
As of right now, it is still 50 from what I heard.
Okay.
But they were in talks with more sponsors, and that's the goal, was to get to 100. So it's in the cards. It's just a matter of time. But even right now, it's at 50 though.
That's awesome. I mean, we love the NPFL. I love the shield. The logo is awesome. American flag. I mean, you couldn't ask nothing better there. I mean, it's pretty cool as crap.
Bass fishing.
Yeah. And it's like, take baby steps, man. Build this thing a little along, and before you know it, you're going to crush a couple other series. And I think it will. I mean, that's my opinion. It's got some big sticks in it, a lot of young guys, and it gave the opportunity. And that's what Wasoko spoke about a lot. It's given the opportunity for a lot of guys to make the next leap.
Absolutely.
That was tired of fishing that other series, not bass, but the other series.
Yeah, well, I think there's enough room at the top of the professional fishing side of it. You got to think about it. I mean, everybody in America knows what bass fishing is. They may not bass fish, but everybody knows what fishing is and what bass fishing is. And there's so many people in the United States that fish, and just the funnel of the amount of people that are just fishing professionally is so small that there's enough room for 3 circuits. And that's a good thing. It gives everybody a chance. I mean, the pie is huge of how many people bass fish. I mean, now we're just cutting the slices in a different percentage. So I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of up and comers, a lot of people to be able to fish a professional series format and make money at it.
Yeah. Plus get the recognition and sponsorship. And that's something NPFL did an excellent job with that last year. I mean, I watched a lot of the YouTube, a lot of the lives and a lot of the footage and stuff like that. And it was, I don't know, it gives me chills thinking about it now, but it was just really freaking cool to see, a guy that fished a weekend series this weekend and next weekend is fishing for the NPFL in front of thousands of people on the internet. The crowds weren't that big. Those will come. I mean, I
as I said, that'll come in time. It's
right.
Small, like you said, small steps. You can't put the cart before the horse. You gotta grow.
Very true. I know we talked about, my first couple of years out of a little tournament series, I spent $400. I've added pieces ever since then, but I mean, it's boys don't care. You're paying cash, you're paying money.
Exactly.
That the cash and
if the money's there, they'll show up.
That's right.
That's right.
They ain't worried about all the glitz and the glamour. It's nice. And and that's one thing that Bass has kind of done part of the lower end of the units. The federation itself always complains about some of that stuff's not really trickling on down like, everybody had thought it was going to trickle down. We've had different owners and it's been passed on over the last couple of years. But, it's like, come on, man. Unless you want bring it on up, bring it up. But, it's I guess you'd say it's different. The NPFL is different. The entry fee is a little less.
It's still $5,000 a tournament. It's 30 grand for the season.
Yeah. Which ain't cheap.
No.
It ain't no deal.
Ain't cheap.
No.
But, like I said, it's just another place for anglers to get their feet wet, go all in, and say, check. I mean, we've had, I know I watched the other day, a couple anglers left bass this year that just didn't make it. And you're going to have that each and every year. But there's another place that they can go to if they still want to fish.
Absolutely. They could still go somewhere else and make a living fishing.
Correct.
And that's what it's about. I mean, this is the sport that we love. And you'd hate, that's why we need more professional formats, basically, because you'd hate to see somebody who has that much love for the game just have a bad season or 2 bad seasons and end up getting cut from one series and then be done with fishing.
Yes.
Because everybody in fishing, it's like a family. Everybody is usually really good friends. Everybody knows everybody. In general, the fishing industry is such a small industry as itself of how small everybody knows everybody. You just hate to see those people go because you're friends with everybody. My best friends are fishermen. That's just how it is.
That's it. Mine too, to be honest. That's all I got. I had to weed out the trash.
I was about to say, if we can't talk fishing, what are we going to talk about?
Got that right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's true. My job doesn't allow us to get out too much. Now I do, but in the past it didn't. It was like, you guys talk a whole lot of fishing. When you guys go? Well, we go a couple times a year. So let's talk about this, man. Let's move on from there. Good luck in NPFL this year. We'll be watching. I think you're going to do awesome. You've done great in bass. Like you said, you're going to be up a bunch of big sticks. And the biggest one we know is John Sokup. So, I mean, that's a chart fish reading machine. I mean, that's
a great example of the exposure that the NPLF has given to some of those anglers. John, man, I'm telling you, we didn't know who John was, until all of a sudden he wins the first NPLF and then comes up and wins the next. And now, he's basically a good friend of ours, not just a guest. So it's the NPLF has done a great job promoting those anglers.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. It gives you that platform to grow your brand because you got to think about it. Look how much John's helped Bass Tank. I mean, I know that he's part of that company.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How much that him winning those tournaments helped grow his organization. So that's what it's about. That shows you that it is a platform and it's there to help the anglers. That's what it's about.
All right. So you brought it up earlier. You qualified again to go fish a Bassmaster Classic. It's a little later this year. What's your thoughts on that? I want to talk about this first, bring it up real quick. I went back, looked up Casey Ashley. 2015 is when he won it. Home waters, 50 pounds. Now, it was February the 20th through the 22nd. This year, it's March. It's the first weekend in March. Maybe a little bit of conditions, temperature. We don't really know the lake. What are your thoughts on it? So, being a little bit later in the year than what it has been in the past. And, I know the schedule's moved around a lot since he won, but we'll listen to you.
I think it all depends on the weather that we have, mainly referring to what is winter going to be like this year. We had a decent November, it got pretty chilly, but December, it warmed right back up. We had a very mild December here in the South, and it's finally starting to cool off again right now. And that depends on how the fishery is going to fish within itself. If we have a really cold winter and it stays cold, it'll kind of fish like it was when Casey won. The fish will stay offshore, and there'll be a lot more fish in transition. Where if it starts warming up in February and we have a very mild winter and it doesn't last long, there's a good chance we might be catching fish off the bed. I've seen it happen before there. I mean, so it's
wow.
It really depends on the winner to how the fish are going to act. It won't be a full-fledged bed fishing tournament, but the
Yeah.
fish will be that far along that they'll be progressing head to the bank. And when when that happens, it's anybody's ball game. That
Right.
somebody's just going to go down a couple stretches of docks and just catch a big bag of fish. But that's why I'm hoping we can get a little bit more colder winter. That way it'll load those fish up a little bit better and kind of make them a little bit easier to target.
Now, when we spoke to Brandon last week, he brought up water level.
That's a big factor as well.
And what are you looking for to fish your strength? What are you, if we get a lot more snow, I know you're going to get I know you're supposed to get some weather this weekend. It's going to bring a little bit more water into the lake. I mean, it's supposed to be, what are you looking for to help play to your strengths?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you what my strengths even are anymore. I just enjoy catching them however they want to be caught. If I ask for high muddy water, I'll get low clear water, and if I get low clear water, I'll be happy with it. If I get high muddy, so that's what I'm fine with. Either or, whatever the cards are going to be dealt with. You are not in control of those variables. So what all you can do is control yourself and just be prepared as much as possible. And whenever the opportunity arises and you kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together, that's what fishing's about. And that's who wins the classic. This is my third classic that I fished so far. The first one was kind of like a whoa. I wasn't used to how it was laid out, meaning you get 3 days of practice, 2 off days, the fourth day of practice, which is only a half of a day of practice. Basically, it's like a mock run of a tournament day, and then a media day. And so the fish you find in the first 3 days of practice, this is springtime of year. Fish are transitioning nonstop. From one day to the next, the fish are going to change. So from a week from your practice, everything changes. And so you just kind of have to go with the flow. And learning that's what's to be expected, that you're there for the media, you're there for the show, and to put all that and learn those elements of it, you can mentally stay in the game better. That first year, it was so much going on, you weren't paying attention to the variables changing.
Right.
You were caught up in the moment, basically. And so now that it's like, we're just going to play the cards we get dealt. What's going to happen is going to happen, and we're just going to fish our heart out. I'm going to try to be mentally and physically prepared as much as I possibly can, and know what to expect during media day with the schedule you have. Media day is going to be hectic, but every moment that you get during that week, you have to manage your time. And that's what it's about, is being good with your time management and just going with the flow and living the moment. And that's what the classic is about, because the winner of that week, something changes and they're just the one to find the fish that week. So we'll see how it goes.
You said you didn't really know your strengths anymore. I think in one of the other podcasts we had brought that up, where you had, your craft over the last few years you thought had been pretty well dialed in, where you had a good feeling in most places you went to, and how you were feeling the day of the event and throughout the event. How do you think some of that's going to play into the classic? I mean, like you said, you're 2 classics in, you're going into your third classic, a lot more relaxed, a lot more comfortable, because like you said, it's going to change the whole entire day, the whole entire week. It's in March.
I think I agree with you. I think that's the biggest thing, is I'm going to go into this classic with a lot more mental confidence of how the format is, how everything works out. So that's not even going to be a factor, really, that I'm going to be prepared for that side of it. And for the fishing side of it, what I mean by, I don't even know what my strengths are anymore. It used to be shallow water power fishing, then it's offshore a little bit. I have confidence in
whatever it takes.
Exactly.
What you need to do to fish the conditions that gets put on you.
And that goes for anybody. When you want to be a well versatile tournament angler, any bait that you pick up, you have to have that confidence. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody with it. I'm saying you have to have the 100% confidence in yourself that when you pick that bait up, whether it's a crankbait, spinnerbait, wacky worm, a jig, doesn't matter, that you're going to be able to catch fish with it. And that's how I am now with a lot of technique, especially here in the state of South Carolina. I feel like I can catch them deep. I feel like I can catch them shallow. It's just putting the pattern together and catching the 5 biggest fish that you possibly can each and every day. And so that's why it's living in the moment. And basically, you have to beat yourself every single day. If I catch the 5 biggest fish that I think I possibly can, then take it to the scales. And if you don't win, you don't win. You can't beat yourself up about it. But
Correct.
You just got to know that you gave it everything you had.
Yeah, you've always got to do what you can do out there in the situation that you're in.
Absolutely.
And you can't get caught up on what the other anglers are doing, because all you can do is what you can do. You really, the saying is you versus the fish. It's not you versus John, Peter, Paul, whoever it is.
Right. It is you versus the fish day in and day out. No matter. That's why I don't look at the field, no matter what tournament I'm fishing against. It's just me versus the fish every single day. Yeah. You nailed it on that one.
Yeah, and that's and like you said, you got hit by the bright lights that first year. Got settled in. Second year, got a little more comfortable coming into year 3 now, especially being in your backyard. You've got it, you understand it, and you're just going to go out there and fish what Mother Nature gives you. So
absolutely.
How has your pre-practice changed since, like I said, homing everything in, getting everything in, and getting that mentality in? I guess it goes a mentality shift here, because fishing is a whole lot of. You can win you can have a great freaking day and still win a day, lose a daggone tournament, just mentality wise.
Absolutely. It's just like golf. A lot of those golfers in the PGA have the same capability. They all hit the ball the same. They're all going to hit it within 10 yards of each other. But at the end of the day, it's all mental. And that's basically how fishing is. Everybody who fishes professionally can throw any bait out there. They all have the confidence in themselves that they can catch it. It's just having that confidence also within yourself to be able to make the right decisions and trust your instinct. And like time on the water, when a certain thing arises of you get a bite doing this, or you get a bite under a dock, and you start recalling things, and you're like, that's the pattern I need to start running. Yeah. And you trust that instinct and you run that pattern, and then things just kind of have to fall into place. It is a chance of luck sometimes, but it's you prepared yourself to be put into that position.
Yep.
You bring up the golf, and Bass Geek will tell you, we had a guest on, and he went from playing golf to bass fishing. And a lot of the stuff that he played a lot of golf, and he brought up that mentality thing, and it's you against the ball
every time.
And just like Geek was saying, you against the fish. It's not really you against the rest of the field, it's you against the fish.
Yeah. Well, golf, it's keeping the form of your swing, keeping the form of your putt, and in bass fishing, it's a lot of the same thing. It's about, fishing the dock correctly, exactly. Putting that bait where you want to be, not ringing the dinner bell like I love to do. Bring.
I'm famous for ringing that dinner bell, but like you said, it's when you get that bite, it's going through the motions, getting the correct hook set in there, and making sure you land those fish. And that's the thing. Not getting caught up with your pants down.
Exactly.
Because that could be the winning fish. And so it's fishing every single cast like it's your last cast, and that's the same way with golfers. You can't slack up on that, that 15-foot putt. You got to putt it just like it was a 2-footer, or if it was a 60. You got to fish every single cast like it's the cast.
I always say, I'm no great tournament angler, but I tell people all the time, probably the one thing I'm proudest of, I had a horrible year as a BFL co-angler, but, as a co-angler, one of the things that you learn about, tournament angling is that whatever bite you get, it is so important to capitalize on. And that entire year, I lost one fish. Every bite I had, whether it was a keeper or non-keeper, and there was a lot of non-keepers, every single fish but one, I landed. Every one.
Impressive.
Probably the proudest thing I've ever done.
I'm telling you, execution is one of the biggest things in fishing.
Yeah.
That is the biggest factor in smallmouth tournaments for us.
Oh, yes.
Everybody's going to have a chance at catching
a smallmouth.
Yeah.
And so it all depends on you executing that fish, of you hooking the fish and landing it. And landing is the hardest part up there.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're fishing light line, small hooks or treble hooks, and putting those fish in the boat it's not as said as done. I mean, can't use a net. It's so being prepared for those kinds of things, practicing your fish landing during practice, your hook set, all that stuff. Like you said, it's if you can execute every fish you get bit by, like you said, I mean, that's a great year. If you only lose one, that's all you can ask for. That's a good tournament season within itself.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't win nothing. I don't think I cashed a check that year, but I did. I capitalized on every bite that got put in front of me, and that's all I could do. You know,
that's what the Bassmaster Classic, like you said. I mean, the Bassmaster Classic itself. I mean, it can come down to one stupid fish. I mean, it really can.
Exactly. It really. I mean, one fish. It's just fluke luck. Most of it. You just skipped under the dock, or you're fishing a brush pile, or you're throwing a Demiki rig way offshore, and a 6-pounder swims by. That could be the fish, you know, of, hey, you were checking your leader line. You don't have any phrase in your line. Your knot's good. Every little detail.
What's some of the things you do to mentally prepare yourself for an event?
Stay confident. I mean, just when I prepare for a tournament, I do a lot of map research, but mainly staying in fishing shape, of staying on the water. You know, once fishing season starts, I don't let off the gas until next October. It's fishing as much as possible, because like we talked about earlier, I'm going from Florida straight to Kentucky, back to South Carolina. But you still, even with you're fishing that different types of fisheries, you're staying in tune with the fish. You're making
bass is a bass.
I don't care where you're at, whether it's from Hawaii, Texas, Florida, Alaska. If it's got a bass in there, they have the same natural instincts.
Staying connected with them. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I guess, you know, follow up would be after that, you know, like you brought up earlier, you are fishing a lot of back-to-back events. And I mean, me personally, I mean, the would-haves, could-haves, should-haves after each event. And then you got to move on to the next event. And you're sitting there dropping, you just finished one, and then you mentally got to prepare yourself for the next event. That's where the challenges, for me personally, would lie into this whole thing. Be like, I'm driving down the road, I got a 9-hour ride, and like, damn, if I'd only threw that one bait and I'd have caught that one fish. Oh yeah, I got to fish this lake next weekend. I mean, it's like
there's two things to that, and I completely agree with you. The first thing is when you do bad in a tournament, or if you don't do as good as you wanted to, it fuels that drive to the next tournament. Because trust me, my truck is going 95 to 100 mile an hour, and I'm gripping that steering wheel. I am like fired up, like, Patrick, you should have just done that. You should have went over there. You knew what to do. Why did you question yourself? And so that fuels you. I mean, I'm gonna drive straight through. I'm probably gonna go past it another 6 hours so I can still think about it and then circle back around. But the second thing to that is you got to fish every single day. Only about that day. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday. Whatever tournament or whatever body of water you're fishing, is you're just in that day. And that's how I look at it. I fish one tournament at a time, and I fish one day at a time. I don't look at Cumberland yet until I get done with Harris Chain. And I don't look at Harris Chain until I get done with St. John's. And so I just live them one at a time and enjoy the moment. Because I'm telling you, when you start thinking about too many tournaments ahead, you're not fishing today. You're not fishing the St. John's like you should. And so you don't do as well. And when you start that ball rolling of that snowball effect of negativity or too much thinking, you get caught up in it and you're not mentally back in the zone again. Referring back to our earlier conversation. So mentally, to stay in it and to stay confident, I fished one day at a time and one tournament at a time. Best way. That's how I found that. That's what works for me. And
how many pounds, brother, do you think it's going to take to win this year's Classic? You know they're going to ask you. Let's hear your number first, because you know it's always a big thing. Everybody writes it on a postcard, takes a photo.
That's true. I'm going to go with 17 pounds a day.
All right.
Yep. That's what I'm going with. So right around 50 something.
Okay. Let's finish it up with this. I think we did it with Brandon as well. What's your top 3 winter baits, man? Let's I know we're throwing it off to him. We're gonna wrap it up with this. Your top 3 winter baits. Give you guys something that, you know. Now, what body of water and what style of water is your main lake down there where you fish?
Santee Cooper is my home lake, actually, the lake pictured in the background. It's 2 lakes put together. It's Lake Marin and Lake Moultrie combined by a diversion canal. But no matter where you're at, it's region oriented. But I'd say my top 3 baits, no matter where I am in the country for wintertime fishing. I'll throw a 4th one in there for a special afterwards. But the first 3, it's going to be a crankbait, shallow water crankbait, preferably like DT6, Shad Rap, the Speed Trap. Everybody knows about that Speed Trap.
Oh yeah,
just catches them.
Yeah.
But wintertime shallow water cranking, a jerkbait. A jerkbait just catches them. I mean, we all know we had to say that one.
Yeah.
But no matter how cold the water gets anywhere in the country, a jerkbait's going to catch them, and a jig. Whether I'm in Florida and I'm swimming a jig, or whether I'm up north dragging a football jig on rock piles, or I'm skipping, trees with it, it's a jig always plays, especially in the wintertime. I think that's when it excels the most. So those are my top 3. There it goes, right there. Those are my top 3 baits. And my bonus pick is when I'm at home and I'm playing around and I don't have a tournament going on, the Alabama rig.
Oh, yeah.
Just catches them.
I'm just going to give you a hand there. It's fun,
I mean,
man.
You can't throw it in tournaments. And so when you're at home and you got nothing going on, I just enjoy throwing it sometimes. I hate packing them. They're terrible rigging those things, but it catches them flat out.
South Holston, right around, right before really, you get into full, like early or late winter, you just really start to get into spring. Oh man, I just get them out. And just go. And Lord God, I've had some of the best days.
What do you put on the back of that Alabama rig, man? I know a lot of them use up here using Kitech swim baits.
I actually use the Storm Largo shads, the 3-inch. At home, I'll use the 4-inch a lot when I'm fishing for bigger fish, but I like the Largo shads because they're durable. I don't know what the material is. It's almost like kind of Z-Man, like the Elastec, but it's not. It doesn't stretch, but you put a little dab of super glue on them and you can fish them all day long. A lot of times with an Alabama rig, when you're fishing, say Kitex, or I'll throw, instead of Kitex now, I throw the Zoom 3.8 Z Swim, same bait. But when you're fishing it, you get a lot of short strikes, and when you get those short strikes, you do a false hook set on them. They pull those tails off like crazy, and that bugs me. And now when I started throwing the Largo shed, they don't pull the tails off nowhere near as much, and you can just pause it, feed it to them, and get that reel handle going, bring it back to them, and you can get them to hook back up. They'll come back and get it.
Patrick, man, I'm done. Unless Basket's got any more questions for you, man. We love talking to you. Go for it, Geek.
I'm good, man. We've talked the poor guy's head off,
Well, I've got a question for you guys.
Yes.
What's y'all's top 3 favorite winter baits?
I'll
beat y'all. Exactly. We're gonna put the script.
I can tell you mine, so I'll let Brian go first.
I like a drop shot.
That's a good one.
Cranking, shallow crank. I like deep cranking, to be honest.
Okay.
We fish Leesville Lake up here. It's a small body of water. It's actually part of Smith Mountain Lake.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And we fish that. We try to stay away from Smith Mountain Lake. And I like throwing a lizard.
Yes, I like the lizard. That's what I'm talking about. That's one of my favorite. Right at spawn time, still a little pre-spawn spawn baits.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that 6 and 8-inch Zoom lizard has caught more big fish than a lot of other
box
plastics.
of them over here.
And just in case you ever fish Douglas, that same exact time right before they move up on the bed, Carolina rigged the heck out of that sucker.
If you're not Carolina rigging a lizard, did you even throw the lizard?
No.
Right. So that's mine.
It's good 3.
Now I fish. I focus on smallmouth in the wintertime. So that's kind of my focus. So that's kind of detailed for them.
Okay.
The first number 1, it's going to be the Demiki rig. You know,
Mickey's been making a push, man.
wear it out, man. Everybody, because the Elite Series came up, everybody thinks that it kind of came from Cherokee, but it actually started on South Holston. That's where it really got hot. Now I know it's variations of it's been everywhere else.
Yeah.
But and then a spoon, and a little tiny spoon, a little white War Eagle spoon. Or any variation, but I like that white. I don't bend it, but I'm fishing pretty deep, so I like it to get straight down there as fast as I can. Gotcha. Because like as we get later in the winter, like the end of this month, really into February, I mean, you're out there catching smallmouth in 80 feet of water.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
on a Damiki and on the spoon. Lastly, any sort of Kitech style bait, and I like to throw. I'll tell you about a special color after we get off here, but I'll say the main color is electric blue chartreuse, and I'll do that whether it's on just on a head, a ball head or something like that, a little deeper. Love to throw it around bluffs and steep points, or the good old Alabama rig, man. Yeah, that's I got two of them tied on all the time this time.
Exactly. And then how you got tied up with Ledgehead lures there for a while?
Well, Ledgehead is one of my favorite heads, and that's actually I guess third. I could really say swim baits, because they have a underspin that I love, and it's because it's got a long wire on it. And one of the things that I used to do is I'd actually take that blade off and put on a feather treble. And then I actually stopped doing that now because who is it? VMC come up with the treble spins.
Mm-hmm. The bladed treble.
The bladed treble. You could put the bladed treble under there and bend that wire straight down, so it looks like there's two little fish, shad swimming along. So, and it'll just kill.
That's a neat trick. The one bad thing about that though is in bass rules, we're actually not allowed to do that.
Oh wow! I would have never thought that.
And the reason for that is, I know, because it trips a lot of people up. Because a lot of people, what they were doing is when that fish had made a real big comeback, around 2015, when Casey won. But since then, like Smith Lake and lakes like that, the spotted bass predominantly are notorious for attacking the blade. Yeah. And so people were putting a trailer hook on the blade, but we're not allowed to put that trailer hook on the blade anymore because I'm going to butcher up the correct phrasing of it, but you can't have a bait that resembles two different baits. Basically, you can't have it's like having a multi-arm spinner bait. We can't have an Alabama rig because it's multiple baits.
Right.
And it's like we can't fish a front runner on a spook because you can't have two baits that attract the fish, basically. Or
I did not know that.
Two hooks. And that's the thing. I'll look up the correct terminology for that.
But
but you couldn't use that as a target. That's what's weird. We can still fish go ahead.
So you couldn't even do it on like a fluke, so like, because that's another thing I like to do.
You can have a trailer hook on there,
but you can't have
if it's under 2 inches, I think. Under 2 inches in length, but you can't have two baits with hooks that attract them, basically.
Gotcha.
So you just can't because that blade basically attracts them, so you can't put a hook on it.
That's like at Live Target that they came out with a couple years ago. They had the 3 little bait balls.
Yep.
Wow.
And that never really took off. I mean, it's like, well, it got banned probably by everybody, but I mean, it's like.
I just want to see if I got the rules here. I would like
So let me ask you a question. There's a company I discovered the other day, and they have this. You actually put it on the line. So have you seen the Carolina Keepers?
Like for the Carolina rig?
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of like that, but it has 3 arms on it, and it's 3 blades. So you can put the blades up the line, and you could put a crankbait behind it, or a jerk bait, or a swim bait.
Holy cow!
I wonder if that would. So would that be? There's no hooks on it.
If there's no hooks, I think you might be fine.
Okay.
A lot of times, what they do is if you have any baits that are in question, you send it to Bass. and they have a board. They'll vote on it. And they'll talk about it and they'll let you know. So if there's like any new baits or something and you're not sure about, you
That's
better
some
get
cool
it double
insider information you shared
awesome.
with us there.
That's why I found the rules real quick. Let me see what it says. Y'all are like, Patrick, we've got to go.
No, I love learning stuff like that. That's interesting. I never knew that. But yeah, if you can't tell by my three, generally I don't like to set steel too much.
I'm with you on that one.
So, like, I love a jig too, like a finesse jig, especially for those smallmouth, which is this one that it's got that living rubber on it. I need to trim it up, and it's got
living rubber's the deal, isn't it?
Yes, especially
I've seen somebody had textured skirts now where it's indented, and they say like it just pulsates with just a little bit of water movement.
But
that's awesome.
What's your favorite jig trailer while you're looking in the winter?
Big Salty.
Oh yeah, I love a big salty.
Old school big chunk, and I think it's because it's got a wide, the meaty part of it, and so it glides. It doesn't just go straight down like when you put a crawl, and that gliding is a natural action, and they just.
I gotta stop asking him questions now. Now I'm getting into like, oh yeah. Listen, I do a YouTube channel called Bass Geek, and it's called Bass Geek for a reason.
There you go.
Trust me, I'm a bass geek as well. I love it. I mean, it's what you live for.
Yeah.
All right, what you got for us, Patrick?
Basically, what it says is any umbrella type rigging, harness, or other devices designed to hold more than one lure at a time, with or without hooks, is not allowed. Such rigging or harness or device cannot be added to a single lure. Basically, it's saying twin arm spinner baits or twin arm underspins.
Right.
Anything that resembles two different baits for one lure is not allowed.
Wow.
That's why you can't have the hook on the blade, or if you're fun fishing, it's completely acceptable. Like you're saying, the hybrid bladed treble. Yeah. That's a slam fish catcher, but it would seem that would be two baits. Yeah. You can't have two baits per cast like that. Just makes it fair.
Yeah.
There you guys go. Learned a little bit tonight. Learned a little bit from brother Patric Walters.
That's just in bass rules. So any other local tournaments, that's why I'd feel free to ask them. Always double check your rules just in case, that way
there you go.
Yeah, please.
You don't want to be DQ'd at the weigh-in. I've seen it happen, and nobody's ever happy about it.
Please, I beg you, read the rules. It's funny, we had to update our kayak series rules. We got a huge kayak series up here. We had 60 different kayak anglers fish with us last year.
Wow.
And that's just in this little area right here within an hour to 2 hour radius.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And this year we had to make some rules updates. And I was like, please, I even put the rules first. Read the rules, because we hate to DQ you. And we'll do it too.
You got to enforce the rules. They're in there for a reason. Yeah. It's to make everything fair. And the more people you get, you get more people that kind of skirt it. So that's why you got to have it's got to be black and white. No gray area.
Patrick.
Yeah, because if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I mean, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's
easy, Ricky Bobby.
Racing analogy, but
exactly. I like it.
You got to get as close to the wall as you can without scrubbing it.
Patrick, man, thank you for coming on with us, brother. Thank you for coming on and talking with us again. We wish you the best of luck over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we can have you back on once you slow down a little bit. We'll see you at the Bassmaster Classic. Definitely be there for that. But good luck. And we're glad we were able to start you off 2022 talking a little bit of bass fishing. And yeah, if you guys made it to the end, we done talked a whole lot of bass fishing. So
guys, I appreciate it. This is a way to kick the year off, get back in fishing mode. Hopefully to be on here soon. Hopefully it'll be after the Classic with some good news. But 2022 is going to be a busy year. Hopefully it's a good one. It's just one day at a time. It's just time to go fishing.
Guys, make sure you follow him on Instagram. If you see him out, throw him a Red Bull.
Might need it. You're right. A Red Bull and a high five.
Yeah,
and a high five going.
There you go.
It's like a marathon. Just hold it out the window and I'll get it as I run by.
He says some of sunflower seeds as well. So make sure you guys take care of him. But any sponsors you'd like to thank, man, before we wrap this bad boy up?
Every sponsor that I have, they're not really sponsorships, they're partnerships, because without them, I wouldn't be here with them. Phantom Outdoors, Omnia, up in Minnesota, great tackle distributor, a tackle store. Daiwa Rods and Reels, Falcon Bass Boats, Yamaha Outboards, Sonar Pros is making a huge push this year. That's where a lot of fishermen are going to these days, is riggers. It's everybody used to run one brand of electronics because it was just keeping everything uniform. Now multiple brands, and to make all of that possible and to make that happen, it helps to have somebody that's rigging it and getting it done right. And that's Sonar Pros. We rely on batteries. Clarendon County, which is the county for Santee Cooper, looking forward to that tournament this year. Terminator, that's going to be a good one. Rapple and all those guys could not do it without them. So there's a lot of big things to come. Just looking forward to just going fishing.
You heard it right here, guys. Make sure you're following him. Like I said, social media as well. Instagram, Facebook. Are you on YouTube yet?
I have a YouTube, but I haven't posted any videos, so
that answers that question. It's a favorite question. Either you have or you haven't. It's like, I have a YouTube, but nothing's there yet.
There's like 3 videos, but they're old, so it doesn't matter.
All right.
I've been meaning to pump it. That's where everything's going, is YouTube, podcast, and I want to do it, and I haven't got it wrapped in my mind yet that people want to see common knowledge of fishing. That's what gets views. And for me, when I watch YouTube videos, I want to watch something super detailed and nichey. And so I think that's what other people want to see, but it's not. They want to see how to tie certain knots, how to locate fish, just bringing it down to the basics.
Listen, I literally released a video on how to use a pocket knocker yesterday at 4 on TikTok. And I don't have a lot. That sucker's done like 240,000 views.
Good God.
I'm just like, what?
You're going to have to make me get on TikTok now.
Yes.
I was just like, hey guys, you take it, you thread it, you throw it, boom, you get your jig back. And it's like, boom.
There it is.
Little things. It is.
That's it. All right, guys. We'll be right back.
It's my fault.
All right, guys, man. Really appreciate Patric for coming on and talking with us tonight. If you listen to the whole podcast, I hope you do. And made it this far. Man, we talked some great fishing, and we hit on some points, and we just kind of talked fishing, and it's a great info
on a lot of topics.
Yes. A lot of topics.
All about fishing.
But guys, really hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. We're wrapping up here tonight. This podcast will be uploaded as always Thursday afternoon. Not always, 97% of the time Thursdays. We're gonna get it uploaded, and then Bass Geek will be at the show. We're gonna be packing. Then we're leaving I heard at 7:00 Friday morning, because we want to beat anything that could potentially come right here in Central Virginia. So, and traffic and all the rest of the crap comes along with it. So we'll be in Tennessee after lunch. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys all at the expo. Please stop either one of us, Geek or me. Love to talk to you. Love to at least shake your hand, tell us you listen to the show. And we thank you for all your support, and thank you for everything you do. And thank you for a great year. Looking forward to it. It's going to be awesome.
Yep. I'm jacked up. Happy, excited.
I'm jacked up too, man. I'm just ready to go to shows. I'm ready to get outside. I mean, it's just, even if the weather sucks, you're inside around your people.
Yeah.
And I mean, heck, I've traveled to a lot of shows in the snow. I ain't gonna lie. I've done a lot of crazy crap in my last 10 years of this whole thing. So if you guys don't think I ain't dedicated, I went from here to Angler's Choice in 2 inches of snow in my Tundra in 4-wheel drive the whole way to a show, snowed and drove back from Martinsville, Virginia. I mean, many of them were like that just this time of year. So, I mean, you got to do what it takes. And God, we're 12 years into this thing, Geek.
Well, I ain't that far into it, but I'm about half that, and it's been an interesting ride, I'll say the least.
Guys, have a great night, everyone. Be safe out there. If you are fishing this time of year, make sure you have that life jacket on. Don't you go anywhere with it. Check your cartridge, check everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that time of the year. Honestly, I don't know enough about the cartridge deal, but if you ask me, if you got one of those life jackets, you need to throw the cartridge away and get a new cartridge. I mean, if you didn't deploy it in 2021, what's another $35 or whatever the heck it costs to save your life? So, I mean, check it, be ready, and be safe. We'll see you at the expos.